This video was sponsored by Lingoda, more about them later.
Welcome to Ben's Midnight Sledge, where I take you via public transport from Munich to Bavaria's best beginner sledge route.
We're Ben and Camille, two foreigners living in Munich, Germany, and over the past 3 years we've documented all of our adventures with one goal in mind: helping you travel by not just inspiring you, but fundamentally empowering you with all the knowledge you need to get out there and do it for yourself. In this video, we're heading deep into the mountains for some midnight sledging.
Now, isn't this just the height of nostalgia, heading towards the Munich Hauptbahnhof, getting ready to head out into the lakes and mountains of Bavaria? It's a near from home classic. I'm even filming on the GoPro as well. Haven't done that in a while, though I'm sure I'll remember why when we get to the editing room. But I need an action camera for today, that's for sure, because we are sledging down the mountains near Schlersee, which, if you've been keeping up with the channel, you remember we went to years ago. It's kind of the whiskey and castle ruin lake. Loved it. But today it's all about snow and crushing that powder as we do a children's family-friendly sled ride, but hopefully it's sunset, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The logistics are also incredibly simple. We're going to be going to the Munich Hauptbahnhof, like I said, taking the train to Schliersee, super simple. We'll grab a Bayern ticket, which will keep it cheap and affordable. You guys know I love buying those. And when we get to Schliersee, it's just a simple bus ride to the bottom of the hills. But for now, I'm going to grab a sandwich and get on that train. Now, you'd think after all this time I wouldn't be late to things, but no, I always underestimate it. We barely had time to get a sandwich, let alone film it, but hey, I've got my ticket, I've got my sandwich, and we're underway. That train ride was lovely and a little unexpected. I mean, I checked the webcams before coming out here. You should always do that, by the way, because the weather in Munich is nothing like the weather out here. And yeah, so I knew we were going to get good snow, but watching the world slowly transition from green pastures to, well, winter wonderland, it's quite nice. But now we need to find the bus. I don't quite know where it is, but how hard can it be? Turns out very difficult. You see, the bus schedule and the train schedule are out of sync. It's a rookie mistake and you hate to see it happen. The trains arrive every hour, the bus every 2 hours. So we're gonna have to wait about 45 minutes at this point until we can get on board and head towards the slopes. Though that's not the worst thing in the world, because the Fischhausen-Neuhausen train station has a pretty good arm. So I think I'll step inside, warm up with a good drink, and yeah, then we'll hit the slopes. We definitely could be stuck at a worse stop, I'll tell you that. I mean, this is easily one of my favorite train stations. And is it weird to have a favorite train station? I hope not, but either way, this one's mine. Good job we came out of the restaurant with time to spare. This boy is 6 minutes early. So now we're off the bus and we're officially on the trail, just 2.5 kilometers to the arm, where we're gonna get our sledges and come back down this bad boy. Now, this does mean you're hiking up the same path that you're sledging down, so you have to watch out both times, but nah, no big deal. We got off at the Spitzingsee bus stop. It was only 2 away from Neuhausen. Oh, people. And in all, it took only like 10 minutes. The bus stop is also conveniently located right at the bottom of this trail. So all in all, I was kind of worried that the logistics for this would be difficult, but they couldn't be more easy. You'll know you're in the right place when you see just a pile of sledges right there at the bottom, but don't take any. There's a sign in German that says, hey, leave them alone. You get yours at the top, and they have the coolest contraption for returning them up there. But now, let's get hiking. And I don't know if this is going to come up on camera, but people are getting just a little bit of air on this bad boy right now, which conveniently seems to be the bit without any guardrails. Bumps and no guardrails. Very Bavarian. This trail is just stunning, and you might have noticed that the lighting is perfect, and that's because we are here for a sunset hike. That's right, no morning, no afternoon, proper sunset, and I could not be more thrilled. It just makes everything look so magical. As a reward though for handling all of this elevation, which does catch up with you when you're hiking up this thing, we're going to be eating at the Alm itself. We're going to be having a delicious Bavarian meal, maybe more Glühwein, maybe some beer, and then as you know from the intro, we're capping this off with a twilight late night sledge back down. They've got all the fairy lights in the trees. It's going to look amazing. Let's just keep walking. I cannot get enough of this. It's so pretty. I mean, Bavarians take this stuff really seriously, so I'm not surprised to see so many good sledges, though I might feel like a little bit of a chump with my rental. More tank tread action. And in all seriousness, I'm actually a little bit daunted the more I hike up this thing. I mean, there actually aren't that many guardrails at all. You could just go off of this thing. And I'm really kind of a novice to the whole sledging thing. I mean, I've gone down some hills in England when I was a kid, but never 2.5 kilometers of perfection. Never done anything like that, never sledded for that long. But it looks like a lot of fun. We're about 30 minutes in now, maybe 35. The light is starting to fade and it started snowing. It couldn't be more perfect, could it? But you do have to watch out for people coming down.
Oh, here he comes. Yay!
Very cool. So we just crested the top of the hill, and I'll tell you what, nothing shows you the length of 2.5 kilometers in hiking uphill in the snow. Needless to say, it's a lot more than I was bargaining for, and I am so daunted for going back in the dark. But it's not quite time for that yet. No. We need to rent our toboggans, and honestly, I could do with a beer. A little bit of liquid courage would go a long way. Now, isn't this a sight for cold eyes? A warm oasis at the top of the mountain. It never ceases to surprise me when I'm hiking in Bavaria, or the Alps in general, how you can just really go out into what feels like the middle of nowhere and just find a warm oasis for some food and drink.
Für mich ein Radler, and then what else? 2 Radler. 2 Radler. Und dann auch, ja, eine andere Frage. So, die letzte Bus, es geht nach Schliersee.
Eine halbe Stunde.
Was? Ja, es geht nach Schliersee am 6.
Ja.
Ja, so, ist es möglich, für ein Taxi zu bekommen?
Ja, aber nicht hier oben.
Ja. Okay, aber es ist nicht ein Problem normalerweise, oder? Okay, ich denke, das ist alles.
34,60.
I mean, it never ceases to amaze me how you can get such a wonderful warm meal at the top of an Alpine mountain. Best thing about living here, it really is. Specifically though, after a hike so cold, I went with Käsespätzle, and so did Camille, which is kind of a German noodle mixed with an Alpine cheese sauce. It really is quite fantastic. People compare it to mac and cheese all the time. I think that's a bad comparison because mac and cheese is not good, and this is amazing. We also forewent beers and went with Radlers, which is half beer, half lemonade, because quite frankly, it's dark. We've got a long sled ahead of us, and yeah, I didn't want to be too far gone. So I figured better err on the safe side. But before I let myself dig in, I would like to thank and talk about this week's sponsor, which is Lingoda. Now, please excuse the change of location. It was a bit rowdy in there to tell you about today's sponsor, Lingoda. You see, they do one thing and they do it incredibly well, and that is connect you, the language learner, with accredited language teachers all over the world. And I love that because it's probably been the biggest challenge for me in learning German lately, is that I have a job and I have to cook, and there are so many things that I need to get done in the day that I can't just exit my life and go to an immersive language school as much as I would love to. So instead, what I can finally do is take a class at 10 p.m. as God intended. Their classes are also really quite fun. Instead of just saying, hey, today you're going to be learning about prepositions, which who would ever click on that, they instead have really interesting titles, such as learning to talk about your trips, a class I couldn't have clicked on faster if I tried. Now, if you asked me about my German skill and I was being honest, I would tell you you it's just fine. I think it's incredibly transactional, and I really don't like that. I mean, for getting around on the bus, the train, ordering a beer, renting a sled, all that business, yeah, I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty comfortable. But the moment we talk about hopes, dreams, the future, tomorrow, and past trips, I just can't do it. I fall right down. So what I need to do is buckle down and learn, and that's what I'm really excited to share with you about Lingoda, is I'm participating in their next upcoming language sprint. A Lingoda language sprint is quite simple, but also highly effective. If you can do 30 lessons in 60 days, one every other day, like me, they will give you 50% of your money back. And for those of you crazy enough, if you can do 60 in 60, yeah, you guessed it, that is 100% of your money back. In my opinion, it has to be the best way to learn a language other than quitting your life and going to that immersive language school, which of course, very few of us can reasonably do. And if any of that sounds interesting to you, which I hope it does, then please check out our link in the description below, use our code, join us on that sprint. It starts soon, so sign up fast. And hey, if you get in the right class, maybe I'll see you there. All right, everybody, there's no more backing down. There's only one way off this mountain. Yeah, why don't you lead? Why don't you lead?
Oh, it's windy. Okay, here we go. Okay. Ah! It's so scary. Yeah, I know, I'm trying. Oh, wait, okay, yeah. It's so crowded.
I mean, I'm worried about me too.
Lean over the edge.
Oh my God, I can't believe they have no guardrails.
Okay, this is like manageable.
This feels pretty good. This is absolutely magical. Oh. Now, that being said, I am wearing a headlight, you can probably tell by now, but I don't think you strictly need one. I've seen a lot of Germans with them. I mean, Germans love good equipment. Oh my God. But that being said, you don't strictly need one. With my eyes, I can see everything perfectly clearly. But you know, it is nicer to have the light, I would say. Oh, these bumps are great. Woo! Woo! These bumps are amazing. Now, one thing that you do need is a bit of sledge literacy. I wouldn't come here having no idea how to operate one of these things. I watched a bunch of videos before coming here, and I'm also a bit of a wuss. So here's my quick overview. To turn left, put your left foot down. To turn right, put your right foot down. To trim up some speed, put both feet down. And if you really, really need to brake, then put both feet down and start pulling up on the sled like that. That'll cut off all of your speed and drench yourself in snow. I'd also recommend sitting as far back on the sled as you feel comfortable and grabbing onto kind of the plastic kiddie horn if you need that as well. How are you doing? High five. All right, shall we keep going?
Yeah.
Oh my God, there are so many bumps!
You okay?
Oh my God, this is incredible. This is so good. Wait, are we almost at the bottom? It took so long to walk up here and we fucking smashed it. You good? Left leg, left leg. Left leg. You're not even braking.
Sorry, you said left leg.
Left.
Right.
Camille has trouble with left and right, and this is not the time for that.
No, don't tell them my secret.
How are we almost done? We're at the metal barriers.
Yeah,
It took like a solid hour and a half for us to hike up here and nigh on 10 minutes to come back down. Oh, the last bit is completely iced over. We're gonna get some speed now. I don't know if you guys are ready for this, but I've got a photo finish. Camille, get out of the way! Camille! Oh, it's too low. It's too low. I can't fit. High five.
Yeah.
That was incredible. I loved it. I mean, going down at night, going so fast, it was daunting. I loved every second of it, even if you did crash a few times. So maybe it would have made for more entertaining footage if we'd let the camera go down with you. But sadly, what isn't epic is how we're going to get back to the train station. I mean, one of the big complaints I have with Bavaria in general is that the mountain buses don't run that late. The last bus leaving out of here was at 6 o'clock and it's 7:20, even if it does look like midnight. And so realistically, your only option is to have driven here, which is kind of annoying. But for us, what we are going to be doing instead is taking a taxi. Not the best, but it's only 2 bus stops. It will take them 20 minutes to arrive. So that's not brilliant either, but all in all, it will get us back to the train station where we can get back on public transport and go back to Munich.
Yeah, so this kind of ties back into what we were originally saying about wanting to get better at our German. When you're here and you're calling taxis out in the mountains in the middle of nowhere, they really don't speak English, and oftentimes they have a thick accent, so it can be very difficult. It took me a long time to get to the point where I could speak on the phone and feel confident. Oh no!
We have to earn the light. This is far from Uber. It's not particularly convenient. You're often just calling up a dude in his living room being like, hey, can you pick me up? But if that all sounds like too much, then you can always just opt for a sunset ride when the buses are still running. Thank you so much for sticking around though. I hope you've really enjoyed it. I hope you're interested in trying out a Rodobahn. They're not all at night and some of them are even much longer. I've heard of a very daunting 6-kilometer one. So if you like this video and you're interested in seeing that, let us know in the comments. I really enjoyed making this. If you come here yourself, leave that in the comments too, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever that might be.